Hi, rich kids. Welcome to our space and to episode 15 in season 2 of the Hot Money Talks podcast. My name is Christine Ishampepe, the money mechanic, and I help you fix your finances. My mission is to equip Africa's younger population with adequate financial literacy, advice, and strategy so they can journey to financial freedom and live life purposefully on their own terms and to the fullest, because money is no more a barrier. I want you to live your best life. The Hot Money Talks podcast is a series of honest, open, and transparent money conversations that will guide you on your journey to financial freedom. Here on the Hot Money Talks podcast, we believe 100% that financial freedom is possible with the right set of knowledge, the right amount of time, and the right circle of people. Today's episode is part 4 in a series of episodes that is focusing on the topic of multiple streams of income. In the first episode, we talked about why you should have multiple sources of income. In the second episode, we talked about how to create multiple sources of income. And in the third episode, we went ahead to discuss how to manage multiple sources of income. Today's episode will discuss how to fund multiple sources of income. Let's get right into it. Now, we've talked about why it's important to have multiple sources of income. We've established the fact that it is risky to rely on one source of income, right? We've talked about how to create, more than one source of income. We've also talked about how to manage it, how to balance it, how to balance having more than one source of income. Now, a question I often get asked that is a pain point for a lot of people is how to fund multiple sources of income. So yes, I may have great ideas, right? And there may be opportunities for me to multiply my sources of income, multiply my ability to earn. The issue many times is, how do I fund these sources of income, right? And today I would like to share with us four ways through which I believe you can fund your multiple sources of income. The very first way is to leverage on OPM. OPM means other people's money. Now, how do you leverage on other people's money? Essentially, you use other people's money to make money. So let's make this practical, right? Now, one way that you see big corporations and very wealthy people fund a lot of their businesses and, their various endeavors or their various money-making platforms or schemes. I don't want to say scheme, but yeah, you understand what I mean. How they're able to fund their different sources of income is by leveraging on other people's money. So take, for example, very recently, Fidelity Bank, is issuing shares to the public, right? And what that means is that you and I have the opportunity to put in our money, into Fidelity Bank by way of shares. And one of the reasons why Fidelity Bank is doing this is obviously to raise capital, right? To continue running the business. Now, what they are doing in this case is leveraging on other people's money. Now, when you leverage on other people's money, you give them a chance also to be a part of something great, right? Because they may not be able to carry out the business themselves. So let's say, for example, you want to use the money to start a business. They may not be able to carry out the business themselves, but their money can work for them, right? So leveraging on other people's money. So you may want to start a business, right? Or start doing something that requires a huge capital that you do not have. You can leverage on other people's money. Just prepare and package whatever it is. Present it to the right sort of people who are looking to invest in something. Use their money to make money. They go home happy. You go home happy. Chicken, huh? All right. A second way to fund your additional source of income is to use a part of your active income to fund, your passive income, or to fund your additional source of income, right? So essentially, what this means is that if you have an active income, maybe you have a job or you have something you're doing already, right? Your main source of income. What you can do is decide that, okay, the money I'm getting from this, my salary, or from this, my active income, I will be saving a part of it to be able to fund this side hustle or this passion that I have, right? So there are some times that I have to speak with people who are like, okay, the thing I'm doing right now is really not what I want to do for the rest of my life, except I don't have the money to actually start the business that I want to start. And my advice to them is, you don't need to quit your 9-to-5 job just yet. What you can do is continue in your 9-to-5 job, continue doing what you're doing. However, take a part of your salary and save it towards that business you want to begin, towards that additional source of income that you want to have. This is a very, very great strategy that even I myself have practiced. Okay. Now, a third way to fund an additional source of income is via crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is underrated. On a very serious note, I have suggested crowdfunding to people and it has worked for them. So essentially, crowdfunding is literally raising money from a crowd of people that are in your space, right? Asking for money, fundraising, okay? Crowdfunding is such a powerful tool, right? Because it gets you in the faces of people who don't even know you, but via, social media or via your network or your connection are able to key into what you're doing. Crowdfunding is essentially free money, because many times when you crowdfund, these people are not asking for their money back, right? They just believe, in what you want to do and are willing to give something towards that cause. Okay, so I know of someone in my space right now who has a laundry business and is currently trying to raise money, to buy a washing machine, right? And he's doing that via crowdfunding. Okay, so he's offering various laundry packages, and the money that people will pay for those various laundry packages is going to go towards the buying of his washing machine. Okay, I also know someone who has crowdfunded to buy stuff for her makeup business and so many other things. I know someone who needed a laptop to enhance his work and crowdfunded towards that laptop, and I gave towards that laptop. For me, I'm all for crowdfunding, right? Because I believe that closed mouths don't get fed. People won't know that you are looking for money to expand your business or to do something for your business until you ask. And what's the worst that could happen? They'll say no, or they won't give, right? But it doesn't take away your dignity in any way. It just makes you even more stronger, right? It also makes you even more determined to present your value in such a way that it is irresistible and people would want to give to it. The very fourth and final way that I believe you can fund your multiple streams of income is through partnership, teaming up with someone or teaming up with a group of people, right? So partnership can work like this. I have an idea, I don't have the money, but I know someone who isn't really interested in having anything to do with the day-to-day runnings of this business or this endeavor that we want to get into, but has the money, right? And believes that this is a workable solution or a workable idea. And so what do? We partner. We come together and we say, okay, I have the idea, you have the money, or I have some part of the money, and I know that if we join hands together, we pull our resources together, we can set this idea rolling. We come into a partnership, we set the ball rolling, everybody goes home happy. So these are 4 very, very great ways for you to fund your extra source of income. So if you've been wondering how to fund that additional source of income, I hope that today's episode is helpful to you. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Hot Money Talks podcast. If you have listened to this point, then it means you have gotten value. Don't keep it to yourself. Go ahead and share the link to this episode with someone you want to see win with their finances this year. Now, it would mean the world to me if you took a few minutes to leave me a review in the comment section of this podcast so that others can see your endorsement and join the community of listeners who enjoy this podcast. Don't forget that new episodes of the Hot Money Talks podcast drop every Saturday, and you can listen to them on your favorite podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Subscribe and follow the show on either of these platforms so that you are notified whenever an episode is released. Recommendations are powerful, so please tell your friends and family about this podcast so we can go on this journey together. To connect with me on other platforms, Do well to follow The Money Mechanic at The Money Mechanic page on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I hope most importantly that you will take action on your finances today. Sending you love, sending you light, and a sprinkle of money in between.